Welcome to the Gear Slum, your one-stop shop for all things guitar culture nonsense. I'm Aaron.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Cole.
We slum it hard so you don't have to. Guys, when is the last time you have been to Guitar Center?
I went a couple months ago. It's been recently.
Okay.
Like fairly recently.
So I went Saturday night for the first time in probably a few months, probably several months.
Did you
Excuse me.
Did you get in a fight with somebody about not having to wear a mask?
No. So you don't have to wear a mask in
it's your
San
right
Diego?
you know that it's your right, Aaron, that you don't have to, right?
Yeah. I mean, technically...
Because it's a HIPAA violation.
Yeah. I mean,
Did you
I'm
know that,
vaccinated,
Aaron?
so I really don't have to, technically. I mean, I still do, but I don't have to.
Also, you're religiously exempt
That's true.
because you have a religion.
Yeah. Separation of church and state.
Yeah, that's right.
Therefore, I'm allowed.
Which Guitar Center are we talking here?
So I went to the
cool
Guitar
one?
Center. Yeah, it's actually the best one I've ever been to anywhere in the country.
I hate that you have a really good Guitar Center. I don't know why I hate it, but I do. I hate it.
It's because of jealousy, Phil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what it is. That's the feeling.
That's why.
That's what
Envy.
That's the
That's what
reason
it's
why.
called.
It's in La Mesa, California,
La Mesa.
in the
La
table.
Mesa.
It was always big, and then like maybe, I don't know, it might be even like 10 years now. Maybe not that long, but several years ago they like remodeled it while they're going through their second or third bankruptcy as a company. They
Wait,
totally
yeah.
remodeled our Guitar Center and made it really good.
They remodeled.
as Guitar
What are
Centers
we
go.
talking? Like a big,
did
you
they
got a big
expand?
acoustic room, probably. Right?
So there's a big acoustic room. They added like classrooms, I think.
They colonized even more.
But it's just like super open. So there's like stations of like synthesizers set up. Like it's kind of like Apple Store-esque in that way.
Yeah.
The one thing that I hate about this Guitar Center and all Guitar Centers is how like the registers are just kind of in the middle of the store, and you're never sure who's working there or like what side
Yeah.
they're on or whatever.
They're like standing around, like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if they're like waiting if they're gonna fix someone's guitar. Or
Yeah,
if they're
yeah.
helping
That's
someone.
what I say. That's what I say to everyone when I walk in there. I say, "Excuse me, what side are you on?"
Whose side are
Hey.
you on?
Hey, you. What side are you on?
I'm like, can you help me or what? So anyway, I walked in. I needed to get. I played
Before we-
at
before
church
we
on
continue,
Sunday.
How
Oh yeah.
how loud is Phil to you, or how loud is Aaron?
Oh
to you,
yes,
Phil?
yes. How loud
Am I quiet?
to you?
No, you're loud to me.
Oh,
How is
You
he
both-
compared to me?
he's a little bit louder than you.
Yeah, but you sound quieter than Phil to me. Yeah. Sounds like a you problem.
You turn down a little bit, Aaron, and I'll turn up a little bit.
Yeah, Aaron.
Turn down for what?
Beep, boop, boop, beep, beep, boop, beep,
Okay,
beep,
anyway.
All right.
boop.
So you want a Guitar Center?
Yeah, so I like last minute end up doing like a set at church on Sunday. So I hadn't changed my guitar strings in a while on my acoustic.
And you're like, I need like 5 pedals for this set at this
No,
church.
so I had these stupid like D'Addario strings, just the regular acoustic strings, and I forgot how much I hate those strings. Like, I had like 3 sets of them, and I ran out of the strings that I normally liked, which are the Martin retros. But anyway, so I went to buy
See, this
strings.
Guitar Center, I looked it up on Google Earth.
Mhm.
It definitely was a Mars Music 20 years ago, right? It's like right on on this enormous freeway, and it's this huge storefront.
I don't think it was. I've never
very
known it
much-
to be a Mars Music.
Okay, it's that type of location.
Maybe
It is
30 years ago.
huge. Holy crap!
It's pretty big, yeah. It's like next to like a Mattress Warehouse. A
Those
sandwich
places, I guess
place.
because mattresses are hard to ship, right?
Yeah.
Mattress stores, man. Okay,
And
so
mattresses are like hard to buy too. I mean, like hard to like.
They're hard to sell.
You have to get them delivered. I mean, is what I'm saying. Like you can't. Very few people have a
I guess
vehicle
it's the same
capable of
reason, like,
transporting a
appliance
mattress.
stores still exist, right?
Yeah. You could buy it online. You can buy a lot of
weird that,
mattresses online now.
Yeah, but they're all just foam, like the crappy.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
Plus,
all
it's
of
like
the
you
mattresses-
kind of really
online
want to.
Mattress stores are just foam mattresses.
You don't really want to buy a mattress without testing it out somewhat first.
Yeah, totally.
Seems like. Anyway, so this Guitar Center, I went in, and as I was walking in, I saw that they had like a new Boss pedal setup, where they had like you know how they all have like the one Boss pedal station that has like 16 pedals or whatever attached to like built into a pedal board.
Yeah.
So this one had four of them. Four of them in like a square. So there's two on one side, two on the other side, and they all had like a slightly different setup. So I went and I got my strings that I needed, and then I like grabbed the Squier Tornado. It's not the Classic Vibe. What is that series? Or is it the Classic Vibe? I don't know. Anyway,
Meet me at her
Like
spot.
vintage modified, but it's not.
is it a vintage mod?
I don't think so, but it's like a newer.
Yeah. Anyway, I grabbed one of those.
Oh, the paranormal.
Is it though? 'Cause it's like a very.
The Tornado, is it like a sunburst one or a greenish one?
No, it's just green. Yeah, I guess it is a paranormal, but I thought paranormal was like weird stuff.
The Tornado's pretty weird. I mean, it's like a standard.
Yeah, but it's like an existing model.
As a Tornado, it's not weird. It's just a weird model. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I grabbed that, and they had like a bunch of cables. I was like, "Oh, can I grab one of these cables?" And so then I go to I was like, I'm gonna test out some of these Boss pedals. I wanted to try the DD200 or whatever. So I go and I get the cable. I plug it into the guitar, and I go to plug it into the pedals, and there's already something plugged into the pedal, the first pedal in the chain, and then I realized each of these stations has like a set of headphones on a hook, so you can like listen. So I'm like, oh, they're going through like an amp model or whatever. And then I realized that there's these screens in front of each set of pedals, and on each screen is Rabia Masad. Masad, is that his name?
Yeah.
Rabia Masad.
Yeah.
And he's just playing like riffs on a loop. And so you can choose like rock riffs or rock chords.
It's like his dry,
and
his dry guitar.
Yes, he's just playing dry guitar, and that's going through the pedal board.
That's pretty genius.
So you listen to him play, and you can like adjust all the individual pedals and like turn things on and off, and choose what you want to like how you want to affect his dry Strat signal, basically.
What?
Yeah, it was pretty freaking cool.
Okay,
and I was like
Aaron, I gotta be honest. You were losing me with that story, and I don't know how I hung in there enough to be paying attention to the right moment. I was like, wait a minute. So a guy that's better at playing than me, I can mess with the knobs when he is playing in real time.
Yeah.
Essentially is what we're talking about. Yeah,
so his signal's going through the pedal board, and so I was messing with the Boss, the Angry Driver, you know?
Okay.
That's like it's the blues driver and the JHS Angry Charlie, and like you put them in series or parallel. And that seems to me like the kind of pedal that like if you have to like play and then adjust and then play and then adjust, it could become really tedious trying to find a cool sound. But like just messing with it with someone else playing and like moving the knobs, it was really cool. And it got me thinking like this might be the best way to demo a pedal in a store like ever.
Maybe.
There's no nerves about like what do I play, or do people listening to me? Does it sound stupid?
Who was just saying in the group that like the thing that they don't want to do is play loud enough so other like they feel like uncomfortable that other people are listening, but they want to hear their freaking selves. Somebody was just saying that. I think it was
might have been Ed.
I want to say it was Ed. But like
Ed Brute.
Yeah,
You can.
this is like
Yeah, say
this
it.
solves that problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's not obviously not perfect for every scenario, but
Ed,
it
you
was.
need to get down to
I
San
think it's
Diego.
a really cool way, especially for like a single brand like Boss to be like, here, listen to all these pedals at once.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Cole, what do you think of that?
It's ingenious. It's like it's an awesome idea.
It's not just genius.
Did you
it's
guys-
ingenious.
Did you guys
It's ingenious.
think? Do you guys used to watch Anderton's videos a lot?
I used to watch them like pretty
For a
consistently.
reasonable
yeah.
amount?
Yeah.
Did you
No.
ever? Was there ever a period where you thought that Rabia's name was Rabir?
Yeah, I thought it was like Robert,
Because them.
like Robert, but
Yeah.
like,
and
but
they were
said
saying like
like a
it
French
was like
Robert,
somebody
like
saying
Rabir.
Robert.
Yes,
Yeah,
I did.
Rabir.
I thought it was.
That's what I thought for a long time.
I thought it was spelled Robert, pronounced Rabir, and they just said it Rabia because that's
and
how
with
they
a British
speak.
accent, it was Rabia. Rabia.
Yeah.
They're just British
What's
people.
up, Rabia?
Yeah, for a little
And
while.
then when I
thought
saw
that.
it written, I was like, oh.
It's also wild, like how
Yeah, it's
that dude is just like everywhere now.
it's pretty cool because like Rob Chapman, I know he kind of like had this whole fall from grace and
Mm.
it was probably deserved, but it was also probably like
Overblown
blown out
a
of
little bit,
proportion
maybe.
and everything. But like Rabia was never anything but like a lovable,
Yeah,
guy, right?
A lovable lad from
the lovable lad from Liverpool.
From Liverpool.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. And who was he? Oh, it was. I remember like two. It must have been like NAMM of 2019 when we saw him. He was like doing like Victory amps,
Mm-hmm.
and then now he's like on videos and Guitar Center for demoing Boss pedals.
Yeah.
It's like
it's kind of wild.
It's a pretty cool career trajectory for him.
Yeah.
The other weird thing is like they have like in their Boss like the Roland synth setup area, I think maybe. Anyway, there's some like big Roland wall and had Joe Branton's face on it.
Serious?
Yeah. Bro, it's like, what is happening in the world? It's not like I know Joe at all, but like it's just funny these people that you listen to and they're like kind of small time and
Yeah.
then they get big time.
Well, and like we kind of know them.
Yeah, I mean I know
Like,
Jay.
we know Jay
I'd
really
say I know
well.
Jay pretty well, yeah.
Totally.
Other guys I've
But,
talked
like,
to, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we know Jay. Like,
yeah.
we know him.
Yeah. Not to like
It
drop
is-
names, but we know Jay.
it is kind of crazy to think. It's like it's not depressing at all, I don't think, but it is funny to think back at like we started our podcast like GAK was already huge,
Hmm.
but 60 Cycle Hum, like it's really a testament to how much they have continued to work on their stuff,
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
the like the Guitar Nerd stuff, I feel like the podcast itself, I don't know. It's none of their full-time jobs, right?
No, I think it is Joe's full-time job now.
Maybe so, yeah.
I think he quit because I think was the last one still working at GAK, and I believe,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not really
Yeah.
interesting to me, but
I haven't listened to him in a while. I don't know,
yeah, it's
just
cool.
funny.
He's done like a bunch of. You should listen. He does like he kind of took the reins and ran with it. So they do like
Yeah.
the regular ones, and they have like bass nerds. So it's bass centric stuff, and then
I
him and
listened to
Matt
some of those.
Knight did a whole like home recording
Yeah.
series, which was really cool. Did you listen to that?
I started listening to it. I
It was cool where they basically like went step by step and like produced a song on the podcast week by week.
Ask
It's cool.
me if I listened.
Did you listen, Phil?
No.
You should say it into your microphone, and then we'll be able to hear it.
I did.
No, you
Yeah, I think he roboted a tiny bit.
Oh,
When I said,
hear you.
did you listen? I was
part
asking both of you. But
part of what's interesting too is like I think back to like it's just funny how your hobbies kind of ebb and flow.
mhm.
Like at one point I would spend a lot of time on guitar message boards and watching Anderton's videos and other YouTube videos and listening to guitar podcasts.
Yeah.
And I just don't as much anymore, you know?
Yeah, I've been watching tons of bicycle YouTube videos
Yeah.
now. I'm like super into
Cool.
it.
You started listening to the Fredcast yet?
No, I haven't listened to any bike
Dude.
podcasts.
So the Fredcast was like that podcast it was like the most consistent, the most serious bicycling podcast. You'd have like a whole section about news, a whole section about like professional cycling.
Oh, it's ended.
And it was just him. One man
Nice.
podcast, which is like, you do not see those very much anymore. You used to see more of them, but this was like this was like 2007, 2008, you know?
Yeah, I've got a buddy who does that, and I don't understand why. I
Who
mean,
does
not
what?
about
Like
bikes, but
a one-man
solo
podcast?
And
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's very hard to do. And he goes, yeah, I know. And I go, find someone else to do it with you, and it will be easier. And he's like, yeah, I just feel like, and I was like, okay, whatever. I mean,
Even if you just get
Yeah.
like a quote-unquote producer to like be there with you and
Yes.
like interject and
Totally.
ask
Yeah.
questions or whatever.
right. To play the dummy, right? That's all.
Yeah.
Like, just to, I'm the expert, blah, blah, blah.
Or even
okay,
just like
well
a
then-
sounding board or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a person to go, hey, well, wait a minute. What do you mean when you say that? And then just give you something to bounce off of. Like, yeah. I don't
Some
get
people
it.
do it and do it well. Like I listen to the Rob Bell podcast occasionally, and he's all by himself. But that's almost more like it's like sermons podcast.
I was going to say,
kind of.
he was comfortable with the
yeah,
like the
it's
rhythm
that's the
of,
same format. Yeah,
exactly, of writing a sermon.
yeah.
And then, I mean,
Of being
I feel,
the soul voice.
Yeah.
yeah, I feel weird about saying the word performing the sermon, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean it is. You have to like, and not only performing, but I think he's good at like, you learn to anticipate the kinds of questions people will ask, and you know to
Delivering.
answer them like just as part of your deliverance. You're delivering of the sermon.
yeah,
Anyway, yeah, but like most of the podcasts I like are more conversational in nature, so
same.
dude, I wouldn't want to do one by myself.
Yeah, that would be.
I feel like here's what happens, and maybe I'm just going right up my own butt with this, but like when I say something that I think maybe there's like a twinge in my mind of like, is this dumb?
Mm-hmm.
One of the two of you or both of you go, hey, why did you say that? And like, that is good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the fact that there's like immediate feedback seems like I don't know why you would want to do it another way. Like I prefer the fact that like it's that when I say something that I'm like, I wonder how this is going to land, that the two of you like either go absolutely or you go
Yeah.
you know, and like that then I can respond immediately.
Right.
If I
like
if I have to.
clarify or whatever.
But
I
if
think
if
none
I'm
of
in
us
my own
has enough-
vacuum,
None of us has enough like pure ego or bravado.
yeah, I guess.
We're
I guess.
constantly like second guessing what we say, you know.
Also, so here's an interesting thing. Listening back to our old podcast episodes has convinced me that free will does not exist. That free will does not exist. Like we are 100% creatures of our environment, and like everything we do is predetermined. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because I'll be listening. Like I was listening to an old episode yesterday. I told
Like
you guys
same
about
joke?
it. Yeah. So like I'll listen to it, and someone will say something, and I'll think of a joke
Yeah.
in my head, and then I'll say it on the
Yes.
podcast, the exact same thing I just thought of, and I'm like, yeah, it's so weird. It's the weirdest
No,
thing.
It's
Okay.
a you talking you too thing.
Is it?
Have you
They
have
do
you
when they go to watch, or no, maybe analyze fish, but They're listening back to the recording they do when they go see Fish live at Madison Square Garden, and Harris makes a joke, and then him at Madison, like they're back in the studio, and then him on the recording makes the exact same joke. And he's like, well, I guess I'm the same person. Like, I have my same brain.
It's super weird.
Sense.
Yeah, you're only a few months older than you were for the episode that you were listening to. So
yeah, but you have like no memory of it.
I know, but there's so much just like time just
really,
passing by you. Like
part of what it tells you is like,
but so that's what I'm saying.
None
like,
of us are all that creative, right?
Well, that's what I mean. Like your life experiences have created this. This is your brain, and when you're fed the stimuli, that's the reaction that comes out of it. It's not like
you're like becoming a Calvinist, basically.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm like
it's like
beyond Calvinists.
Okay,
I don't think Calvinists exist.
I can't remember if we've talked about how much we've talked about the.
I'll just say I'm fine with people being Calvinists as long as they don't make guitar pedals.
Exactly.
You can be a Calvinist in any job, but not that one. Yeah. So in the show Westworld, and I've got to be honest, I'm sure we have viewers who are like into the show. I only watched the first couple seasons, and then I was like,
I watched the first season. I thought was really good.
Yeah, same.
Second season, I was like, it's all right. And then I could never get into the third one.
I know. I was like, I don't understand what's happening. But
once they came into like the real world, I was like, I can't follow this anymore.
Yeah,
it's too much.
What are we talking about? The real world?
No.
Oh, dude, real world.
Westworld. So
MTV's just all nostalgia now.
West,
like they're redoing all the real world shows. Have you seen this?
Dude, you know what would be awesome?
Like bringing back the original cast.
A mashup of the real world and Westworld.
Where it's
That's
just like
what we really need.
It's sort of like replicants, but they're all they're based on the people from the real world, and you can like go live with them.
You can go interact with them. Okay,
you could be like the extra person in the real Westworld.
The real Westworld, which is actually the point I was going to make, because the thing that I feel like I don't know who came up with this idea of
Michael Crichton,
of how the Westworld characters, like the replicants.
Is that what they're called?
No, they're called something else. They're like the
hosts.
Whatever. The robots. Yes, the hosts. Like they all have very sophisticated, Cole, I'll explain this to you. They all have very sophisticated like scripts in their mind, in their like programming.
Right.
And so like different interactions will like trigger different scripts, which is kind of similar to like when I play Zelda with my kid, like you've got like, options, right? Like I say this to the character and the character responds back to me. So it's like more sophisticated like versions of that. But when I listen back to our podcast, I think to myself, holy crap, I'm just a robot.
Yeah.
Because my brain,
that's your program.
It's programmed into me. I go, ooh, I'm going to say a funny thing right here. And then I say it in the freaking podcast, just like you said. It's uncomfortable how consistent that is.
Yeah, it's wild.
So all I'm saying is Aaron is a robot and I am a robot. And
Cole is not.
Maybe Cole is our creator. Maybe that's...
Oh, that was a left turn.
Maybe that's what's happening.
Oh, the podcast I listened to was from October 31st, 2018. So it was 3 years old, and I made the exact same joke in my head.
Same joke in your mind?
Yes.
Please tell us.
I can't remember what the joke was, but...
Oh, see, we need to start writing those down.
But it was the episode, so I randomly found the episode of the... It was the one where you were doing your game, and you read a review of a guy who...
the battery guy.
Yeah, the battery guy. So he hated everything but the DD7, and then we like went down a rabbit trail of all his reviews, and he was like consistently complaining about like how hard it was to access the battery compartment, and like some pedals didn't have battery compartments, and so he
His
like
name was John, wasn't it?
yeah, it's John. He had a pedal that he rubber banded a 9-volt battery to the side of it.
Yeah. And used the little like
Yeah.
the little one spot battery connector.
And then he had like
dude.
reviews of actual batteries, like battery brands. He was like
Yes.
Yeah.
he was like hating on the Chinese batteries, and he's like, I only buy Duracell because they're American made. Not this. It's like it was crazy. It was so good. That's such a good episode.
So this happens to me a whole lot because Kathy will say, hey, let's listen to an episode while we fall asleep. So
That is so weird.
so she's like six.
On so
I
many
know.
levels.
I know. So she is like maybe 6 months behind
That is so weird.
of us today right now.
Uh-huh.
And so
Although I was thinking about that.
I'll press play, and then we'll start listening to it. And one of you will say something, and I'll think of a joke, and then my voice in the podcast will say the joke that I just thought of.
Uh-huh.
And it happens all the time.
You should start saying it out loud and see if it freaks out Kathy.
I'm sure it will. I mean, I will like, because it's not even like the joke, but then it's phrased differently. It's like
Yeah, it's the word for word.
actual-
Like
Yes.
timing, the inflection, everything is
Yes.
exactly the same.
Yes.
What are you listening to it on, like a Sonos bar or something?
No, it's just my phone. I just like put on the
Just the phone. Yeah.
yeah.
That's how I fall asleep
Why
too.
did-
But not
listening to yourself?
myself.
It's
No,
not my
just like
preference.
my phone playing. That's what's so interesting.
It's hilarious.
So we got into this. I went out to dinner. Shout out to Sean Larrabee, #1 super fan of the podcast.
Never heard of her.
I've talked.
Number one.
He's a friend of mine in real life, in meat space, as they say. And we get together like every year or something, and it's always good. And he started playing guitar at his church, and he got this really cool Strat from 1983. It's the weirdest thing. It's fully the trem is like, it's like a blade instead of having like the 6 screws or the 2 screws, it pivots on like the entire
Oh my
length
God.
of the
I
trem,
thought you said
know?
a strap from 1983.
No,
You said a Strat?
Stratocaster, Fender.
Yeah, I was so confused.
Fender
Okay, I'm
Stratocaster.
with you now.
And it's
When
fully
you said
top
trem, I
loaded.
thought you meant trim.
So
and
you
then
were
you're
really
like-
going down.
Yeah,
the
and
wrong
then you're like,
road.
and then the trim is like a
Multiple
blade.
wrong
I was
trims.
like, what?
You're like, what are you talking
do you mean?
about?
And then from job, I thought you said jorb.
Great job there, Amstray.
Jerb.
If you don't know Gun Street Wiring Shop by now, you must be living in the dark ages. They are the premier hand-built wiring solution for all of your guitars. I have one in my Telecaster. I have a setup in there, 5-way. It's great. Have it in my Jazzmaster. It's amazing. I actually put it in my Epiphone Dot, brought the thing back to life. It's crazy. If you don't have it, you need it. Every guitar that you own will be better with Gun Street Wiring Shop. I promise. Also, if you join the street crew, you get a discount on the product, and I guarantee you'll enjoy it. If you get it and you don't like it, I will punch Cole in the face. That's my guarantee. Check it out right now at gunstreetwiringshop.com. Okay, so he's got a 1983 Stratocaster, and the trem
It's
is like,
just like, as far as I can tell,
a
it's just
blade?
an American standard Strat, but it's fully top loading.
okay,
There's no cutout on the back, you know.
uh-huh.
There's only a single volume and tone, and then the third hole in the pick guard is the output jack.
Oh,
So there's no like the standard Strat output jack that you would think
Yeah.
is not on it. It must have been like a deluxe model or or maybe even less than American standard, or maybe that was the early '80s were a weird time, right?
yeah.
But but he brought it with him because I hadn't seen it. He had sent. We went out to dinner a couple weeks ago. He had sent me pictures of it when he first got it, and I was like excited for him and everything. And it's a really cool, like, it's like a maple neck.
Uh-huh.
It's got to be just like a poly finish, but it's pretty thin because it's wearing through on the neck, like the old maple neck Strats are, or the maple neck Fenders,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Board.
Dude.
Yeah, it's really.
I'm
cool
looking
guitar.
at one on Reverb right now.
Is it the same? Like, it's top loaded and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So it's completely like unrouted there's no routing in the back, and it doesn't have like the bullet jack thing.
Yeah.
It says Dan Smith Stratocaster.
Oh yeah, it's like it's like cream colored?
Yep.
That's the exact one that he has.
So it was
Well,
called
this is
the standard Stratocaster.
Yeah. But see, look at it
was only made in 83, 84. Yeah, it's crazy.
the trim on it is really weird, huh?
Okay, let me see the trim.
Let's see if
So
you
this
can
one that
see
I'm
it.
looking at was apparently owned by
Yeah, the one on eBay.
it was owned by one of the dudes from Oasis.
Yeah. That's a weird. I love it when people like way overestimate stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Like the little bevel on like the front part of it is
Yeah,
really
the
exaggerated.
pivot point
yeah.
is like all the way across instead of just
Yeah.
having like the 2 screws or the 6 screws.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool design.
Well, how does it work? Like in terms of like tension, where's the string?
I think it has springs. The body's thicker. Like I think
So,
it
like,
is
under
a
the pick guard?
similar structure, but it's just under the pick guard. And then I don't know though. Like it makes me want to.
I don't know, I'm trying to find
wanna
one,
find
a picture with like
of
the pick guard off.
Makes me want to la la la.
Dan Smith.
1983 standard Stratocaster. That's crazy. What a crazy design.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Um.
And what is it? Just master, tone, and volume?
Yeah. So part of the. Oh yeah, look, I found one.
Ooh.
Hey Phil, let me share my screen.
Oh no.
He forgot how.
I mean, multiple
Yeah, that's a
participants
weird
can
design,
share
dude.
simultaneously. Are we there? Can we do that? Did I do it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, no.
No.
So
I
the
tried to
reason
do it. It
brought
says the
up,
host
though,
has disabled it.
is
Yeah, why?
the last time when we were talking about it, it kind of like I can't remember
How
how it
about now?
came up. How about that? We've talked about how like I'm not comfortable sort of like sharing the fact that I do a podcast or
Mhm.
whatever. Which is
I know you don't like sharing it with us.
Whoa.
which is like whatever. It's a function of my own issues, right? But somehow it came up and
So I'm sorry. Is this Fender or not?
Yeah.
yeah, it's just totally Fender
Really?
American whatever.
It's a crazy design. So
Yeah.
there's like a hinge in the
If-
It has
the
5
trim plate.
Dude, it has 5 springs. There's a hinge, and then it like slopes up towards, and then the springs are mounted
Yeah.
underneath the middle pick.
yeah,
the
look at
middle
the way the
pickup.
trim is bolted down.
Yeah. So I wonder like what kind of does that have an impact on the bridge pickup?
Maybe there's
Like
all
how
of
it has
those.
to be
Having
like
a pickup
shielded
right
against the
under
springs
those-
somehow.
Yeah, those springs. Yeah, that's crazy.
Maybe.
Okay, so we got to.
Otherwise, you would like hear this.
but the
I don't know,
whole
it seems
the whole
like
thing's
someone-
grounded though, so it'd be just like having kind of a ground plate underneath. It wouldn't pick up that much, I wouldn't think, other than the springs themselves vibrating would maybe be picked up by the.
That's what I
pickup.
meant. Like the vibrations
But I guess
more
a
than
Strat
the
would be like
metal
that.
of it.
A Strat would be like that normally, though. Any Strat would be that way, right?
Yeah, but there's wood. Like on a
Because the
regular
only
Strat,
thing-
there's wood between the pickups and the
Yeah,
springs.
but wood doesn't have any electromagnetic properties to it, so it would just be transparent, basically.
Hmm. Yeah, you're probably. I mean, obviously, I don't think they would have made it. I mean, who knows what they would have done, but
Yeah, like it wouldn't.
it's not bad enough that it hindered them from creating it. Yeah.
Like, yeah. Although that's like,
And
well,
so
it
I
couldn't
was
be that
thinking,
bad. They
like,
made it.
exactly,
slippery
this is
slope, you know?
debatable.
So the reason I brought that up originally is because in the course of that conversation there, the last time we talked, it came up that I do the podcast, and he's like, "Oh yeah, what's it called again?" And I told him, and then a day or two later, he texted me like, "Oh, I was listening to this episode, and that's funny and whatever." And I was like, "Oh yeah, haha." And then we hadn't talked for a long time, and then we got to dinner and we're just chatting away, and it came up that my son plays drums, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, did you ever find a drum kit for him?" And he was like, the episode I'm on, you were like looking for a drum kit, but you hadn't found one." And I was like, "Excuse me? Come again?"
Excuse me?
Get out of my life.
So he's going to listen to this at some point. He's been cobgobbling the entire thing.
What's his name?
And so part of Sean Larrabee.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Part of why
is
it's funny is
cobgobbling
because
listening to
Yeah,
it
he
all
started
together, or
on-
is that listening to it for a second time?
cobgobbling in my
Cobgobbling
mind was
is
starting
listening-
from the beginning and listening all the way through serially.
Okay.
No. Many people have done that.
Yeah.
Cobgobbling is when you do it and then do it again
Yeah.
because you're so freaking
No,
obsessed.
that's just
That was my
that's
impression.
cobgobbling.
No. Listen to Aaron.
It's because the original
Because
cobgobbler,
Aaron thinks something, it's right.
the original
The two
gobbling,
of us.
the original cobgobbling was referring to the second time through. But I mean, I'm
Thank you.
fine playing loose with the term.
So
Doesn't matter to me.
No.
he's pre cobgobbling right now.
Yes. He's like,
But it's
I don't
always
know,
funny
cob
because like
something
to somebody-
other than gobbling.
because
Cobnibbling. He's
people
a
are always
cobnibbler.
surprised.
I'm nibbling.
Anyone who listens to the podcast is then somehow surprised that Lacey has never listened to a second of the podcast ever
Why?
and has zero interest in listening to it. I don't know, but like it's funny because they'll assume that like she would get the same references or whatever. And she's
I
like,
see.
"No, I don't.
Yeah.
So
understand
you're
what
talking about like
talking
in person.
Yeah, when they're like they listen to it because like my brothers will be the same way.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I don't understand what you're saying." That
Yeah.
it's like a totally foreign.
That's really funny.
I mean, yeah. The thing is,
But
it's
to
weird
me,
that-
the thought of my wife, like the concept of my wife actually wanting to listen to the podcast is totally foreign
Oh,
to me.
me too. It's completely.
yeah, I agree because here's the way I look at it. Like,
No, you
if the
couldn't
three of us
possibly
were-
agree with that because your wife does like to listen to the podcast.
No, I think that's weird. If the three of us were friends in the same town, and we would like hang out every once in a while and start talking like this, which is what we would do if we lived in the same town and we hung
Yeah.
out together, and we'd start talking like this, like all of our wives, if we started talking like this, they would just turn around and walk away immediately. They would
Yeah,
have
they would not be
zero
a part of the
interest
conversation.
in like in
Or they would
our,
just like zone out or whatever.
that's
You know how
true.
women are.
Yeah.
They
So,
be
like-
shopping for one thing.
They be yeah.
They do be shopping.
Women be shopping. But like, so yeah, I'm 100% like, I 100% agree that my wife is the anomaly. That she's like,
Also,
I want
like
to listen to
how
you guys talk about things that I don't.
how often have you tried to talk to your wife, and it was clear that she did not want to like hear what you had to say to her at any
Many.
given time, right?
But the thing that's
Many.
hilarious about it is if you had this
Exactly,
the
right.
exact same conversation in front of her, she would not want to be a part of it or listen to it. But
Exactly.
because it had
Yeah.
been recorded at some point, she's like, put that on while we go to sleep.
I hate to say this out loud. I hate to say this out loud.
When you
On a
say
recording.
when you say she has to listen to it while you go to sleep, do you mean actually go to sleep?
Yes, but you got listen.
Okay.
I hate to say this out loud, but she wants to listen to the two of you.
Berate
She wants
you?
to listen to the two of you make jokes.
She wants us to make. She likes to hear us make fun of you.
No, not
like
make
a
It's
fun
a
of
touch-
you.
very
Right.
like kind of Falwell esque
No,
situation. In a few months, when you guys listen to this one,
no. When
that's
you
going to be
guys,
the moment.
when every once in a while when you decide to get like a little bit too mean in my direction, then she's like
she
defends you.
She gets
across
upset.
the line.
But yeah, exactly.
That has
But,
never
like,
happened though.
There's never. It's not
You've never
possible
taken
to
it too
be-
far.
No.
No, because you are the bad guy. That's like saying like it
I
was
would say
pretty
we
messed up what
rarely take it
Vietnam-
far enough.
It's pretty messed up what Vietnam did to the United States during that war. Like, no, that's
No. So,
Yeah.
I mean, recently the three of us were talking about Karate Kid 3 for some reason.
Cole and I collectively are Kevin, and you are the Wet Bandits. What we do seems excessive until you realize that we are a child and you are invading our home.
exactly. And you are an actual like you want to be a child murderer, even though you're not yet.
Yeah. An aspiring child murderer.
Yeah.
A child.
A child.
Wrong. No. Worse than
So yes, that's what she likes.
that is great. She likes that we make fun of you a little bit, but then when it gets too far, it's like
Then she's like,
that's
hey,
my
yeah.
territory.
Yes.
I wonder
exactly.
what she does when she listens alone, though. Is it the same?
She's never
Don't
once
think about it
listened
too
alone.
much.
I've said to her,
So as far as you know,
that's true.
I'm just
Would you
kidding.
feel betrayed if she was listening to it alone?
No,
Wait a second.
no.
That's like if you have
guess-
like a polyamorous relationship and then you realize that like the other two people were like going on dates together just by themselves or whatever, you know?
I would feel really weird if for whatever reason there was an episode that I couldn't be a part of and it was the two of you,
Yes.
and then like I walked in and she was like
Absolutely.
listening to that on repeat. Then
She's
yeah,
like, "Ooh,
I
this
would.
one's really scratching me where I itch.
For some reason, I really like this one.
can't
Yeah,
figure it out.
the jokes are just better. I don't know. It's just
It's really flowing quicker, smoother for some reason.
yeah. So
It's such a funny thing. It's the same way. It's so funny. My wife and I don't sleep in the same room. And you guys know that.
Yeah.
This isn't news to you.
we do. I'm sure that yeah, we do.
And whenever that fact comes up in conversation, I'm used to people reacting with pure shock. Our sleeping arrangement has been this way for probably 8 years or so. And it's a wonderful thing. It works great.
What do you say when people interact with pure shock? Do you say, "Get out of my business"?
No, because it's never like. No, I mean, I think part of it. I'm like very. I have very little self-confidence in general, but like the one area of my life that I know is actually very healthy and positive is my marriage. So like, I don't feel any need to defend it whatsoever. You know.
Yeah.
Like I'm not insecure about it at all. But it's,
You're not like, no, it's okay because
no, I promise. It's like we're not gonna get divorced. It's like I don't. But it was funny. So it's the same. It's the same way when I hear that you guys listen to our podcast falling asleep. It's like such a foreign concept to me, yet it's so normal. But like even from like an objective standpoint, like yeah, it's a little bit weird. Just like I know that I'm the weird one, right?
it's just
Like,
uncommon. It's not like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just
Totally, but it's just like
Yeah,
it's
that's not the
unusual.
common
It's not
scenario,
average.
yeah.
It's not normal or whatever.
Yeah, it's like above average.
But it was so funny. It came up the other night with one of our neighbors, and he was like, "Hey, you don't have to defend it to me. We sleep in separate rooms too, and we have for like 5 years." And I was like, "Yeah," and it was like this total bonding moment. He's like, "I called it our sleeping divorce when we started sleeping in separate rooms," and I was like, "Okay, well that's A little dark, I guess, but you know,
Not what I like to call it. Yeah.
not what I was gonna say.
Ooh, we can't.
But,
We're not friends anymore.
But guys,
Aaron,
my marriage is fine though, so don't like. I promise.
You share beds very frequently.
Yeah.
That's
The
not
thing
the
about
issue.
the thing about alcoholics is the alcoholic will tell you they're not an alcoholic when nobody asked.
Yeah. They're trying to convince themselves
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're not an alcoholic.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Aaron, what are
With
you
being
drinking?
an alcoholic. I mean, it's not a moral failing, but it probably has bad consequences, right?
It's
There's nothing wrong with a person who is an alcoholic. There's probably,
Yeah.
negative consequences.
I was just
to
making a
being-
Seinfeld reference, but
Yeah.
it's called Peach Cruiser. It's a India Pale Ale brewed with peaches, apricots, and lactose.
That's a weird
Yeah,
thing.
it's
to
not
add.
great.
I kind of want to say ew, but I have never tried it, so.
So is it like milky? Lactose?
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
It looks like,
Oh, there's things floating in it. It's like
Yeah, I'm not like a big fan.
dude, what are you doing to yourself?
Well,
The way that I feel right
thought
now
I'd
about
try something
you
new.
drinking that is how most people feel about me not sleeping in the same room as my wife. Like, what led you to this decision?
the road is long and winding. The
So
list is
speaking of
long but
Seinfeld-
not distinguished.
Way leads
Seinfeld, they just started streaming on something, right?
Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, Netflix.
Netflix.
It was
I
on Hulu.
I was just talking to my neighbor, and one of their kids has started watching it, and it's kind of we were talking about, like, one of them, they had really strict. So this is my friend that we went to Portland with, that I go to all the concerts with.
Mhm.
His wife was saying that one time, her mom walked in the room while they were watching Three's Company, of all things, and was so shocked at the subject matter that she cut the cord on the TV, like the
Oh,
power
no
cord.
way.
Whoa.
Just freaking cut it with scissors. So they just didn't have a TV. But we were talking about Seinfeld, and then
And
like
while
other
she
shows.
did it, she like electrocuted herself.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
That's how much she cared.
what are the shows? It's a weird. There's a very fundamental difference in how, because watching TV and movies and everything was a huge part of my upbringing, and I'm assuming it was the same way for you guys.
Mhm.
But it's very different that our kids can basically watch whatever they want at any time.
Dude,
Like, everything's on
Josiah
demand.
Josiah just said the other day, he goes, when grandma, like out of the blue, when grandma and grandpa come over, he pauses, they watch live TV. And he said it with like disdain.
Yeah. He's like, are
Like-
they poor?
Yeah, it was like, how disgusting. And I go,
Yeah.
and I didn't say, I just go, well, what is it they watch? And he goes, I don't know, like the news? I mean,
You're like,
and I was like,
it's not Fox News, is it, Josiah? Tell us if it's Fox News.
I don't
Blink twice.
no, I don't think so.
No, I'm saying
This
to
was-
Josiah. That's what you would say
Yeah.
to him.
But like, this is at our house. And so like, we don't have
Yeah. You have it
access to
blocked,
that.
obviously.
Yeah. So like,
Speaking of which, I had cable growing up, but my parents would call the cable company and make them block MTV
Nice.
specifically because
yeah, I
they
think
didn't want us
Parents-
watching Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, yeah.
you've told us that before.
They had no problem with us watching like rated R movies or whatever. I mean,
The real world.
There were phases probably.
No cartoons, though.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I
MTV
remember,
VHS.
must have been 1996 because I remember watching the Olympics
Protest.
around the same time. We were at my grandmother's house for like a week in the summer, and we were watching TV. I want to say it was Friends, maybe. It was some sitcom, and my brothers and I were watching it. And my mom was like in the other room, and my grandmother walked through the room while we were watching it, and then she calls my mom. She goes, "This show is talking about menstruation." Like,
Your mom's like,
you need
good.
to turn
You
it
need to
off
learn
right
about
now. That's the weirdest thing.
That's so funny.
It happened.
They,
It's true. That's what TV was
It's
like in
such
the
a-
90s. Filth.
what were some of the shows that you guys watched just because you had to, because you're flipping through channels, but then like ended up like you secretly
like everything,
actually
like-
enjoyed it, you know?
Like Friends. I remember watching.
I hated Friends. I would watch like
I remember
freaking
watching,
the Dick Van Dyke Show before I'd watch Friends.
Perfect Strangers.
Oh heck
Yeah, or
I
Wings.
watched a lot of game shows.
Did Wings and Perfect Strangers have a
Wings
common
was good.
character?
No,
like
but
Wings.
they were same
No.
era, I think.
Had Tony Shalhoub.
I think
So Tony
I think,
Shalhoub
they were
was
both on
in
USA,
Wings.
maybe.
No,
no. Perfect Strangers.
Perfect Strangers
a
was part of
network show.
TGIF.
Yeah,
And
that
so
was like
was Wings.
Yeah, was it? Oh yeah, at a
They-
certain
I'm sure-
point it was. Yeah,
They might have both
We
gone
talked
into
about TGIF.
syndication.
Yeah, maybe.
yeah.
Wings
I didn't
was
watch a
You're
ton of Perfect
conflating
Strangers.
Bronson Pinchot with Tony Shalhoub.
Wings
That's not possible.
was definitely like a later Cheers era,
Yes.
and it was like, okay, how can we
Totally.
like spin like the Cheers fandom
It was totally
just
Cheers
into
because it was even
another
at a
show?
bar essentially, but it was kind of like It was like a diner.
No, it was
counter.
no, it was an airport.
I mean, it's
No,
an
it
airport.
was the
But yeah, but it was
yeah,
like
it was the waiting room of
like
a freaking tiny airport.
yeah, but they had like food and stuff.
Yeah, the one
Like, it was
girl
like-
worked at the food court.
Yeah,
Courtney Thorne Smith
yeah,
worked at the food court.
yeah.
Wow, Aaron.
She was dating.
Courtney Thorne Smith of Chairman of the Board, starring Carrot Top
No
and
way.
Courtney Thorne Smith.
But who was the guy? There was two guys.
One
There
of
was
the dudes-
Joe, the two brothers who owned the airline together, and one was like
Yes,
straight laced,
yeah.
the other one was like
The
wild man.
straight laced
Tony
guy
Shalhoub
was the
the-
one who played Texas cult
David Koresh.
David Koresh. Thank you. He played David Koresh in one of the
Oh, okay.
TV things.
And then
The
Tony
other
Shalhoub
guy-
was the taxi driver.
The
Oh,
other guy I
the
haven't
other-
seen for a while.
He the
Tim,
wild
Tim
man. Are you
Daly
talking?
and Steven Weber.
Dude,
Yeah,
it was
Steven
it
Weber
was
was
basically
kind of
Taxi.
the-
Yeah, I was going to
Steven
say
Weber
it's
was
very
the
much
bad
like
boy.
Taxi.
Yeah, it was Taxi. I mean, there was literally a taxi.
I mean, you
driver
could
as
say
one
that
of the-
Cheers was basically Taxi too, I guess.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, the difference is that like, just like with Wings, I
kind
guess
of
they
a
were all
workplace
technically
comedy.
at their job. Like Cheers wasn't a workplace comedy. I mean, it was in the sense that like the
It was like
people
half and
working at the
half.
bar, yeah. But like the other people were
Yeah.
all there. I mean, honestly, it's always
It's like
Sunny in
Clerks.
Philadelphia is kind of an extension. Like it's
That
you
is
know,
like Cheers.
the natural extension of of Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Wings was a great one though. What was I remember like
Yep.
Caroline in the City? That was another one that
That's what I was thinking of. There was that one, and then Just Shoot Me. Remember Just Shoot Me?
of course.
Joe Rogan was on it.
Yeah. The radio news radio was an actually amazing
Or
show.
he was on News Radio.
Joe
huh?
Rogan's,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
and that show was great.
David Spade was on Just Shoot Me.
Yeah.
And George
And then-
Segal, who was in Look Who's Talking, which is one of my favorite movies as a kid. I think we had it we had taped it off of television, so I watched it a
Yeah.
lot.
I love that for you, Aaron.
Your biological clock is ticking.
Yeah, it's weird though that our kids. Well, and the other thing is like commercials. We watched Robin Hood Men in Tights the other night, which we can
Yeah.
talk about that on our next episode. But We were watching it on Sling, so it had commercials.
Oh
And
yeah.
it was like such a foreign concept. In fact, at one point, my son had me pause it so we could go to the bathroom, and I was like, the freaking commercial break just ended. You go during the commercials. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Wait till the commercial's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So real quick, I saw this TikTok the other day of it was Tommy Lee from Motley Crue.
Jones. Okay.
Yeah, Tommy Lee, and he was sharing a conversation that he was having with John Travolta, and he was like sending John Travolta a cookie recipe. And
So,
then
hold on.
Why did you
He's
not share
sharing
this with us?
Tommy Lee is sharing a text conversation.
yeah, he's showing like screenshots of this
Yeah.
conversation with him and John Travolta. He's sending him a cookie recipe. Oh, he's like, "Hey, I tried your cookie recipe and it came out really good." And then he's
Sorry
like,
about your wife.
I'm also making these brownies." And then it's just the two of them like being like, "Oh, can you imagine like what they're like? Imagine like all the people at home, and they're like wondering like, oh, what are these rock star celebrities doing on a Friday night? And then we're just making cookies." And I was like, that is the douchiest thing I've ever heard.
Dude.
Like,
It's like the most
literally
narcissistic.
nobody is sitting at home wondering
about
what Tommy
everyone
Lee
who's
and John
thinking about
Travolta
it.
are
Can you
doing on a
imagine?
Friday night.
Yeah.
Nobody has thought about Tommy Lee or John Travolta in 20 years.
I know.
I mean, I have, but like,
I mean, yes, but
That's not the
not
point.
like, oh, I wonder what they're up to right now.
I wonder what they're doing on a Friday night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but in their they're
John
like in their
Travolta
own
that-
minds. They're
So
like,
wait, John Travolta is the one that said that, right?
I think so.
And Tommy Lee was sharing that not to make fun of him, but just to say like, "Oh, look how relatable this is that we were doing this on a Friday night."
So it started with showing the clips, and then it was like actually, or the screenshots, and then it showed like clips of them sending videos back and forth to each other. And John Travolta said that thing, and then Tommy's like, "Yeah, I was just saying the exact same thing with my wife. It's like if people knew what we were doing, it's like no one cares."
did
Dude.
did
Okay.
we talk about?
Here's another TikTok that's a little bit in that same vein. It's a video of Kevin Hart with his son, and he's like down on the court at this NBA game, and some NBA player is giving his son their shoes or whatever. And the point of the video is like, look how cool look what a great father Kevin Hart is. And of course, my first thought is like, maybe Kevin Hart's son isn't the one who needs like these, like maybe you could have found, I don't know, some kid whose dad
Right.
isn't rich and famous to give the shoes to, you know?
Some poor kid, yeah.
Yeah, some poor kid.
Some
Just
poor kid.
Some poor kid. Oh, dude, I was eating some porkids earlier today.
All right, and then what was your thought after
but
that?
then it's freaking Kevin Hart's TikTok account.
Oh, so he's
Like,
like,
he posted it.
yeah,
So all the comments are just like roasting him. The top one was like,
So
Kevin Hart is such a, in quotes, Kevin Hart is father of the year, and then dash Kevin Hart.
okay, so did we talk about the This Is Important episode where Durs talked about partying with Tommy Lee?
yeah, no, but I've heard it.
Cole, did you hear that one?
No, but we should talk about it on our next episode of The Gear Slum.
Okay.
John Travolta in the middle says, "You didn't know I was Johnny Crocker."
Ew.
Like Betty Crocker.
That's
Yeah.
barely funny.
It's not funny at all.
That's not funny at all, dude. That's the type of joke a famous person makes because they're used to people laughing at their jokes. Or an attractive person.
Yeah,
That's the type of joke a hot person makes in high school.
it's a hot guy joke. Thanks
Yeah.
for your friendship.
Whose joke is it
John
that
Hamm would never make that joke.
he's like, girls
Maybe.
always say that they like a guy with a sense of humor. But then I realized what they really like is a guy who laughs at stupid jokes.
Oh.
That's not the actual joke, though. I'm going to go find it.
It's a good one.
But it's true though.
Thanks for friendship, Cole.
Find us on Discord, and
Hey.
thanks for friendship.
Thanks for friendship.